you say, which might lead to some of these teams falling asleep, perhaps. I don't think G2 are going to sleep on the Peeps. I do think that they're going to sweep the Peeps, though.
You set that up so well, and then you instantly switched away.
I think it's time for the Peeps to get sweeped. I have to say it wrong to keep the rhyme, unfortunately, but...
That's fair, that's fair. No, we respect that more, if anything.
Yeah. Okay, it's just all part of G2's plan. Don't worry about it. All the G2 fans watching. I saw them practicing this in training earlier. You know, we talked about it, Rogue. Never actually get a chance to practice from behind. G2 are doing it in live competition. 1-0 to the Peeps already.
I will say that when it does come to the Peeps, they do tend to follow a bit of a pattern, especially with their, you know, much longer tournament streaks between the DreamHack and the last tournament, the last regional, I should say, where, you know, they do lose a couple of the earlier rounds. They, you know, try and make you convinced that they've regained their mortality of sorts, and then they suddenly just burst into life once they hit playoffs / the end of the second stage. So, you know, this would almost be following their typical patterns if they do end up losing this one. But they don't want to do that. They want to be a team that is always looked past whenever they get to these situations. As JNaps clears to Chicago, over to Rizzo. That is well read by Gyro, however. I'm going to keep with the Peeps on offense. Passed over to Illusion. It's not a great shot.
Wow, look at them go. Peeps are playing some brilliant Rocket League already. Very fast-paced, and the passing is coming together. Illusion giving JNaps no chance on that play. So the Peeps are looking to continue their current undefeated streak on the day. They have yet to lose in any of today's matches they've played. G2 have dropped one game. So this is maybe something that Peeps have got going for them. Rizzo gets one back, and how did this not get cleared?
Yeah, I think Peeps, next time, the #1 solution might be at least move a little bit. Gyro's just flipped the wrong way, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's one of the easier bits of analysis we're ever going to do.
Yeah, Gyro has flipped in the wrong direction. For more in-depth analysis, you can visit Shogun's live stream.
It won't get any more in-depth than that. It will just be hit the ball, don't let them hit the ball, go faster, and just uninstall, mate. You're not playing well.
Just uninstall.
That one cost $30.
That's the premium package advice right there. I don't think that it's going to come to that for either of the teams today, fortunately for them.
No, definitely not.
Everything's been going according to plan for the group. Well, kind of according to plan. The upsets were a big thing in Regional 1, but now things are settling into the correct order. That was actually a very interesting half flip from JNaps. He ended up upside down, but he somehow recovered with a little half flip to get right back to the ball, right back into position. Oh, Illusion's takeoff has been bumped, but now a whiff coming in for Chicago, and G2 are going to be down 3-1. What on earth is going on?
Okay, so we've seen some really high-quality plays, and we've seen some not very high-quality plays. I'm going to put that one into the latter category. Almost feels like it was a bit of charity work back there from G2 after watching Gyro flip past the ball earlier on. So we've already got 4 goals, and we're only just 2 minutes into this game, waiting for, well, either team really to fully stabilize. That is a great shot, but right into the path of Gyro, who will keep it out. And that is, you know, JNaps trying to keep the ball in the offensive side of the field, but if it doesn't go well for his team, like it kind of hasn't, his teammate's just going to get stuck back over here. After game gone, half a minute without conceding for either team. That's got to be some sort of win, right?
Yeah, that's a big improvement over some of the defending we were seeing earlier on. You know, a big part of commentary, especially in Rocket League, is trying to highlight the brilliance of a play rather than the complete failure of someone else in the play. But occasionally a play comes along where any brilliance that there may be is so eclipsed by the massive failure that it is impossible to talk about it. Oh, well, this is a bit reminiscent of something we saw earlier on. Peeps are struggling with these clears from these sort of positions. Just not setting themselves up for success, maybe, with their positioning off the ball there. It bobbles into the middle, and nobody is facing it to clear it into the corner.
Yeah, you get the feeling that one is pretty much entirely on Illusion. You know, Gyro, when he's on the wall like that and the ball is trickling below him, there's really not much he can do with it outside of some sort of wonder pinch against the floor. JNaps straight into Illusion. That is a much better touch this time, but it's followed by Chicago. It's 3 each.
Well struck by Chicago. No time wasted. Brilliant placement. And I think JNAP just did enough there. It's one of those shots that was so straight at Illusion that it was actually harder for him to save than if it was a bit to his right or a bit to his left. So one of the occasions where actually the fact that JNAP has shot the ball directly at his opponent is in fact a benefit. And it made it harder for the Peeps to clear.
That's going to be straight down the middle. I was getting the feeling that this could be a 5-5 by the time we get to the end of regulation. Both teams just scoring for, well, I was going to say when they want to, and also, given how some of this defense has been, also when they're not really trying to.
Maybe we'll go for both teams are conceding when they want to. We've
weird
totally
strategies, but we'll let them have it as the ball's just gone flying over the top of Chicago. Jared couldn't quite figure it out quick enough. This is, yeah, it's been one of those games so far. I would not expect the rest of the series to end up looking like this. But as we mentioned earlier on, especially against some teams that have gone 3, as I'm not even acknowledging anymore, Johnny. It's just part of the norm.
The ball is just supposed to bounce around the Peeps box with no real direction.
This is fine.
This is what we've come to expect from this matchup now. Rizzo actually nearly getting dunked on by his rotating teammate there. He did get the ball past him. It's a good placement by him. After such a long break with no goals going in, next one very well could be the one that separates these two teams. And it's, it's G2 who have got the momentum on their side, scoring the last couple of goals, I should say. But Peeps, their defending has been chaotic, but it has kept the ball out of the net for at least a minute now, which is something.
Oh, that is a fantastic pass as well. Drop over from Rizzo. Look at some JNAPs.
Wow,
and he just puts it right underneath. That is a Rocket League version of a nutmeg.
Yeah, he just faked him out here. Rizzo drops it down. And I think JNAP spotted the pre-jumping AJ, so he struck it low instead. Bounced it underneath him. And that is the very, very late winner that G2 were looking for. 14 seconds left to hold on to this.
It has seemed like this game has almost returned to normalcy as we have gone through the minutes. As Rizzo pops it over to JNAPs. What a great pass that is. Didn't go for it too early through risk of it possibly being intercepted. Chicago tries to wipe out Lucian. Couldn't quite manage it. And now G2 just have to see the ball to the ground. And they have taken what was a chaotic game number 1.
Yeah, that was definitely something. We noticed when G2 moved to their team house earlier on in this season, their defense really improved. They started to tighten up with their defending of counterattacks. They weren't leaving their net open for long shots to go in. But this game was right back to pre-team house G2, or maybe maybe their team house AC is broken or something. Maybe the fridge is broken out, or something's definitely off, Shogun. That's not allowing G2 to play to their maximum potential defensively. Luckily for them, they tend to bring an incredibly threatening offense, no matter what happens to their AC in the team house.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier on, I'm not expecting to see something like that again in this sort of series. I think both these teams will realize that was a bit rough from both of them, and that they'll try to almost settle it down a little bit more. I'm going to end up being completely wrong. We're going to see 4 goals, or maybe they start speed running to 5 within the first minute. But we'll see what they have got for us as we move into game number 2. Quick reminder that even if a team loses this one, which one of them has to, they've still got 2 more opportunities after this, and it will be against, well, what you would expect to be slowly declining in quality opposition. So this is about as hard as it's going to get. But we have also seen a couple of times, Johnny, teams that have started so well and have eventually been reverse swept by the Swiss bracket, as Jared's going to start us off. And he starts us off brilliantly.
Well, that is one way to leave nothing up to chance. Gyro pre-flips into an air dribble. Did he watch Turanturo's goal from the last game, maybe? Because that definitely looked inspired. There was no flip reset to set it up, but still, what a goal by Gyro.
That is how you want to almost reset yourself going into game number 2. Lucian looks to go for his moment as JNAPs can't take over. I think we need to tell these players that we can't have a top 3 with all the players looking the exact same.
Yeah, pre-flip into air dribble seems to be the goal of the day. That's happened a couple of times now. That's such an incredibly difficult move to execute. So credit to Turanturo in the previous series, and now Gyro in this one. The control that you need to be able to know exactly where your car is going to finish its flip It's unreal. Illusion makes it 2. Near post defense for G2 is falling apart. And just like last game, the Peeps have got a hot start.
I mean, if Gyro's got anything to do with it, the near post defense is actually falling apart because he's making sure of it. Nice demo from him. Means that the follow-up was not there for G2, and they find themselves 2 goals down. And we're not even a minute played so far, so this has been absolutely phenomenal as Rizzo. Well, that's a different strategy. I think he just wanted to try and catch up with the chip shot, but ended up just skying it a little bit too much, and G2 are still 2 goals down. It might even get worse than that depending on how the rest of this play goes. AJ starting to close in, and G2, you know, defensively, they do look rough, but transition-wise, they look fantastic.
Yeah, G2 always have that ominous sort of threat that they could be scoring. Every time they touch the ball in the other half, the opposition half, they just look like the real deal. They always have. And I think they always will. So the defense is the question. That's a great save by AJ, just dive bombing that ball. Rizzo with the reset on the ceiling. Now he's going to try and center, but nobody's there. JNAP sitting back at the halfway line. Has to run all the way into his back corner now to catch that pinch shot AJ fired at their net. Yeah, something's definitely missing for G2 today. I think Turtle's probably watching and thinking, why did I predict G2 to win this regional event? Because with the way that they've defended, they're never going to be able to beat or compete with a team that plays at the level NRG have been recently.
So who is actually, you know, on the chopping block of the analysts so far? Actually, as Rizzo looks for his own air dribble from the wall, JNAPS keeps the pressure on.
I don't think anybody
who for the 3-0.
I don't think anybody predicted the Peeps 3-0, if I remember correctly.
So I think it was Turtle. Yeah, Turtle was G2.
Turtle went G2 for 3-0. That's right. Gibbs went Rogue. I went NRG. I don't think anybody went Peeps. Maybe Leaf was feeling a bit spicy today. But you know, given how long they've gone without conceding in the second game, it looks a bit more promising for the Peeps. I still think G2 are going to find a way to edge this if it does go the distance.
It's going to pop out. JNAPS going to try and take this the whole way. He's still got 30 boost. Flip reset.
Whoa,
he almost
what?
managed to skip underneath. Chicago wins the challenge. Follow up. And there we go. That lead is now cut in half.
Oh my goodness. JNAPS just stopped the ball dead with his flip reset, and that forced the whiff from Gyro. I don't know if it was planned. In fact, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, because there's no way that you can make such a precise touch at the end of a flip reset shot to stop the ball dead in its tracks and thus make the goalkeeper whiff. But boy, was it effective. That was unreal from JNAPS.
Now JNAPS looks to continue onwards here. 2 minutes for just 1 goal. This looks much better now for G2. If you were on Peeps, you kind of wanted that 2-goal lead just to at least last until the 1 minute remaining mark. It really forced G2 to have to throw everything at you, so maybe you can even sneak away a 3rd goal as again they go for the challenge, and again they score off it.
Oh my goodness, G2's 50-50s are absolutely crushing it right now. Chicago scored with a 50-50 in the last one. Now he's got an assist with a 50-50. That's actually a calculated play. Notice how Chicago flipped away from the ball there to try and make sure that it would stay into the middle. So you notice the goalkeeper was looking to push that into the corner defensively. So perfect counter by Chicago. The assists from G2 have been outstanding.
G2 have found a weakness and are pressing down on it. AJ wanted to be a bit close to the ball, so he could have used the flip reset. JNAPS. Oh, almost. I was seeing the goalkeeper there as just sees the potential demo fly over the top of his head.
Oh, close, but not close enough for Peeps. We talked a bit earlier on about how, you know, hitting a ball straight at a goalkeeper can be a more difficult save than hitting it slightly to the side of them. The same way, sometimes hitting a ball slowly at a goalkeeper can be a more difficult save. Oh, that wasn't slow though, Illusion. Got it past one, but not JNAPS, who was on the goal line. That's in the middle though for AJ. He shoots slowly and Rizzo can't get goal side of it. It's gone in. Peeps have their lead once again.
That is an outstanding play by Gyro. And for AJ, slices across the ball. He would have wanted to do a bit more power, but it is in nonetheless. And Peeps, they did drop their 2-goal lead. They've managed to get their goal back. Great mental fortitude by them to instantly manage to bounce back from a game that was starting to look like it was going away from them. And they do need this one. You don't want to be going down 2 games against a team like G2. As now Gyro, he's not going to have much support that quick, but it does come in. AJ was sitting so far back, So Gyro decided, all right, I'll hit this even further back to you.
Yeah, Gyro, what a game he's having. First of all, he gets the unbelievable solo goal, pre-flip into air dribble. Now he's got a couple of assists that have really just given his teammate, well, given AJ no way to fail. That's the perfect passing from Gyro 2 times in a row. And 2 open nets for AJ off it. Now Gyro's going to go for the bump. Oh my, look at him go. 3 goals in a row, all assisted by one man. But this is a double assist. He managed to force JNaps to pass it into the middle, and then he slams him into the corner.
Gyro is heating up. And this, more than the lead, might be something that is even better to see for the Peeps fans out there, because it's one thing to take a game, but it's another thing entirely to give yourself a series win condition. And if Gyro keeps playing like this, he becomes that win condition.
Yeah, just get the ball to him. And, you know, AJ's usually the player who people think of when they're thinking about who's going to carry the Peeps mechanically, but Gyro's got some tricks up his sleeve, and he's an incredibly difficult player to read. Now, G2 do get 1 back, and we've seen 2 goal comebacks in, I think, 6 seconds is the record in Rocket League history.
It's been a while. That is been done in like the RLC Pro League.
Yeah. We need a kickoff goal and a 0-second goal, but hey, it's possible is all I'm saying. One day, I'm going to say this, and it's going to happen, and I'm going to look like a genius. For now, I probably will have to settle for looking like a bit of a muppet, but that's just any other day of the week for me, so I'm used to it.
Well, it is not going to be this time around, but one day in the future, Johnny, they are going to look for at least one more Chicago to JNaps. Just trying to play keepy-ups towards the end. And the Peeps do get 1 back, and they do it. You know, it wasn't sort of goals out of nowhere, really. Those were well-worked, well-earned goals by them.
Yeah, some fantastic plays by Gyro, basically, is the summary you need for this game. What an opener with the pre-flip air dribble. I'm sure we're going to get to take another look at that. I really hope we are. I hope I've not just made somebody panic.
I think we can just,
I
know there was like 8 goals here. I'd happily watch that one 8 times instead. There were some great goals.
You got like 5 or 6 touches on that, maybe another after it hit the bar as well. And that was after a pre-flip. Yeah, look at that by JNaps, slowing down the shot, forcing the goalkeeper to just make a dead ball play rather than a clear. And for a while, it looked like it was going to be a repeat of game number 1 with G2 coming back and then maybe taking the win as well. But it wasn't meant to be. Really solid plays coming out of the Peeps and Gyro in particular. So let's see if he can replicate that performance. Has he used all of his hard-to-read plays in one game?
Gyro, good pass back, but he accidentally dunks his own teammate, and this is calamity right now for the Peeps. It's not being made any easier by G2 slow playing it, but it is also that slow play that gives them their chance to recollect, and it gives them the chance to score. G2 had no idea what to do with this.
Yeah, we saw a few risky plays there. First of all, Chicago drove forward, went for a demo on the ball carrier, missed it, and his recovery wasn't instantaneous, so he didn't have ball pressure from behind. That forced JNaps to go in, and then he lost a 50-50, and there was no third behind him. There was a bit too much of a gap between JNaps and Rizzo for that to be a viable strategy. So a couple of things going wrong there for G2. They've almost equalized on another center ball, but the defensive cohesion for G2 is completely out the window there. They're spacing between each other, and you know the recoveries with the first man they're sending forward could definitely be improved.
Oh, that is AJ setting up so well. Lucian comes in late. What's that lateness that almost let him set up for the dunk? Gyro takes his time. Now Lucian flicks into Rizzo, actually. Slows him down. Doesn't really give them too much off that play directly, but it's just annoyance. It's just that constant little prodding away at G2, looking for them to make mistakes, but Chicago never makes a mistake when it comes to shooting like that.
Yeah, it's unreal. G2 playing like 2 different teams at the moment. They're playing Plat 3 defense and then Supersonic Champion wide champ offense, the widest of champ offense that you're going to see today. Really interesting. It's like they've taken Season 5 gimmick and turned him into a team.
Oh dear, that's actually truly horrifying when you say it like that.
all along, the G for G2 is actually, it's meant gimmick. It's actually gimmick too. It's been gimmick the whole time.
Sorry, I'm going to have to sort of mull that one over very quick. A Chicago shot. Need to get a little bit more on it. Just the pass too far ahead of him. That one's going to be popped up. And right now, the Peeps are on the back foot. They want to find some way of getting rid of this. Going to drop down yet again. G2 are the team that can actually run onto these shots as well. So, you know, their offensive power is going to be much larger than the defensive power that we see from the Peeps. Rizzo outpaces. Wants a second touch. Gets that second touch. Gyro is now forced into action. That's the last thing you want as a defending team. Is forced to use bits of boost on all three of your players. It's going to pop straight out. And if G2 can keep this offensive press going for too much longer, it's just going to run out of resources if you're on the Peeps. And it looks like that opportunity could be coming soon. Shot not quite low enough. Rizzo wants the challenge. He's got it yet again. Rizzo has not lost a single offensive challenge in so long, but he also gives Gyro the opportunity to clear long. And that is an opportunity that the Peeps desperately need to take. Oh my goodness. JNaps, mate. You, I'm going to just get rid of that one.
Like I told you, man, defense, something after this rank reset, definitely like could very well be platinum, but G2 are still creating numerous opportunities up front. Rizzo almost had one just moments ago. If he had more boost, it would have been very difficult for the Peeps to handle. What a pop up past that is. Gyro's going to get challenged on his follow-up shot. How is the boost doing for G2? That's a really good clear, actually. JNaps not only hit that hard, but also the way that Illusion wasn't expecting it to go, so there was no immediate response from the Peeps. And that's I think, often the underappreciated aspect of clearing the ball. It's not just about the power, it's about the accuracy, it's about the placement of your clears. JNaps totally wrong foot in the entire Peeps lineup with that one.
Yeah, it's something that you see BDS over in Europe do so well. They find that one gap that the opponent's rotation can't quite cover, and they just power the ball straight through that gap as it is AJ. Looks towards the right-hand side for the blue team, but couldn't quite find a teammate. Will Chicago be found for the pass? Yes, he does. And G2 straight back onto that offensive push. It's not going to last. Gyro much more subdued this game than he was in the last one. Chicago's got a bit of time, but he's not got much boost to his name. Rizzo looks to move on in. And G2 have looked like the stronger of the two teams, but they have not got the goal to come up with it. Gyro off the back, but Illusion moves in, and that is well blocked.
Yeah, we almost saw the happy little accident from Rizzo there, just flipping past the ball to set up his teammate. Oh, no accident on that play, though. What a banger by JNaps. Rizzo played it perfectly into his path.
Yeah, I love that he didn't go full power on this one, just dropped it straight to JNaps, who can lash it on that half volley. It is the sweetest spot for that ball to land if you just want sheer power on the ball. And JNaps, well, there was no real placement. It was just hit the ball as hard as possible. It will go where it has to go.
Yeah, as long as he bangs that top shelf, there's no way. There's no way that even the craziest pre-jump is going to get there in time. G2 in front. Their offense is more than enough to make up for any kind of defensive inconsistencies they've got. Or is it? Another one that's just gone out straight down the middle. And that was between two G2 defenders. Did they bump each other? Oh, they did. Rizzo got bumped by JNaps. You've got to be joking.
Well, AJ is going to start holding seminars next week called How to Open Up the G2 Defense. And it's just going to be take ball and take the most direct route you possibly can.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's a real problem. And, you know, Rizzo was the one who he was coming in for the challenge, so it's really on JNaps to stay out of his way. Oh, bang it for Gyro. He almost got all three of them. Rizzo was able to get the save. Thank goodness for G2. That would have been a devastating goal.
Oh, dearie me. We already saw that one for almost the first time with Justin in the last regional. And it was retreated to yet another one, as it is 2 each. It's be one of the first times that we actually don't see 6+ goals go in. Merely 5. There's Illusion. Might actually be able to give a 0 second. And JNaps keeps it out.
Yeah, great save by JNaps. Just hoping against all odds that one would be within his reach when the shot came in. And it was. G2 still in with a chance to win this. A very good one. For them, it's just about trying not to crash into each other in defense, trying not to leave their net open for a month at a time. Their offense is just so unbelievably hard to stop. They just give themselves the time. They give themselves the foundation to build that offense on. Then the goal will come.
We have already seen some pretty epically long overtime so far, so let's see if this one is over quick or if we are in for yet another one. JNaps blasts the ball. Rizzo doesn't want to quite go for it. He had the boost. There was maybe the opportunity for him to fly up and tap that one straight back down to his teammate on the 1-2. AJ up. Chicago always so quick. They might have actually caught Gyro out a little bit here. Rizzo almost crashes straight through him. And Gyro very patient with the way he's defending. Peeps don't want to be here, though, as it's passed infield to Rizzo off the backboard. And you get the feeling that if those passes keep succeeding, there's going to be that one that they can start putting into the top corner.
Yeah, that was a very difficult position for Gyro to be in. Ball just would not sit nicely for him. Chance. Illusion's going to put that into the ceiling. That'll do. That's good enough, really, for the Peeps in that play. They need to get up so quickly for that one because they know that G2 are going to be rebounding that as early as humanly possible. So they also have to push the limits of what they're capable of in terms of defensive speed.
AJ shot. He's got a couple of people jumping here, but JNAP's quick enough on the draw to help his team out. Now here's Gyro. 0 boost. You know he wants another one. Not going to be able to do it, though, with absolutely nothing in the tank.
Oh, wow.
That's a fake on the backboard. Wasn't much there for him, but at least it looked nice.
Yeah, he got one, but there, unfortunately for him, 3 defenders to get by. Now a chance for Gyro again. He's going to get crushed in the challenge by Chicago, who continues attacking. No boost to catch the rebound, but AJ wouldn't have given it to him anyway. But G2 are still in the hunt with all 3 members. They will not relent, and they will not stop aggressing. Every time that there's a chance for the 3rd man to attack, they take it. They're playing with full faith in one another, despite how everything has gone today. And that really tells you a lot about this team and how much faith they have in each other, the experience they have playing with each other. They need that more than ever.
They have one mode, and it is full throttle at all times. You're gonna need it here. Just JNAPs push the ball to the right-hand side. Don't know if that was a mistouch or he just didn't like the view in front of him.
I'm pretty sure he double jumped by accident there. It looked like he was trying to dodge into the ball, but either way, looked like he was giving away possession, so he's probably lost for, or he's trying to think of what to do. Do I dodge left? Do I dodge like straight into this? Do I jump? Before he could make up his mind, the ball reached him. Illusion beaten to that one by Chicago. It's good evasion there by AJ. He was being chased in the defense, but he got away from the bump and collected the ball quite well. Nobody able to clear that one, though. AJ will catch it, and they're using the wall exceptionally well to help them get out of defense against G2. Once again there, AJ just up the side wall and away to safety.
The only issue with the way G2 play offense is that when something goes weird, if there's a bounce that they don't expect, if there's a challenge that pops out a weird way, that is where they can get caught with nobody back and just a long clear. As here we go, Chicago cuts rotation. What a time to go for the half rotation to keep that ball out of their side of the field. Now AJ, he's gone up late here actually. Illusion's got to cut back over. That's a weird bounce from the corner. And the Peeps are holding on. And they'll be happy to see that there's not been a major opportunity for G2 in quite some time, despite G2 having good possession of the ball. A huge demo actually is going to ruin the G2 offensive rotation for the time being. And they're going to look to keep it going. Chicago's going to get back. His teammate was being mauled on the goal line, and he does help out in the perfect way. Now AJ wants to get another shot at this. Going to drop over to Gyro on target, and JNAPs again.
G2 are just hanging on by a thread right now, but I think we've seen pretty clearly a good example of what their game plan is. They are relying so much on these immediate rotations from the furthest player forward. Chicago there saved them a couple of times because he was racing straight back into defense without wasting any time. And that's what G2 are assuming is always going to happen. Now, big boost run happening for Rizzo right now. He's tried to take all the boost away, but meanwhile, the rest of the team are having to defend. Would have been brilliant if G2 could have got an attack going right there, right then, because Rizzo actually ran ahead of Illusion the entire way back. Took all the boost on that side of the field.
Illusion needs to get a good challenge. He has got it, but it also bounces out to JNAPs. It's just each team taking their turn right now to create an opportunity. Rizzo again. Blasted up high. It's AJ in the race. Comes out quite well, and he's going to land on it. 0 boost as he went for that one. As Chicago, that's a huge dunk.
Rizzo
is all by himself, and Rizzo buries the shot.
Once again, G2 have got no difficulty in getting up for these rebounds in such quick fashion. That's brilliant. And that shows that despite all the failures that they've had today, despite a few times, just leaving each other isolated in defense, leaving some gaps for the ball to roll through. They still have confidence in one another as a team. And you definitely can't say that about every team in Rocket League right now, who, one thing goes wrong and that just turns into a million problems for them. G2, they are still playing their game. They're still playing their style. Even when things aren't going perfectly, they just stick to the plan. And this time they execute to a greater degree.
Yeah, I mean, they just kept going for it until they got the perfect opportunity. And you just saw win the race, win the challenge, just keep on doing that until nobody is left. And it got to a point that Gyro was all by himself and he's just looking around, just going, lads, it's just me against the 3 G2 players. I've not really got much of a chance here. So it is going to be G2 now on match point, looking to qualify with a 3-0 in our first Swiss of the week. And it is a big thing as well, because we've seen so often how you get later on in the tournament, you need to have that positive record to avoid having multiple rounds in a row of matches that you just don't want to see.
Yeah, they will desperately want to advance 3-0 here. G2's form as of late hasn't been the best. They had a week actually in the run up to the second NA regional for this split, where they looked like the top team in NA again. They were able to take down the grid for the 3rd time, and they were beating everybody they played against. But then going into that second regional, it all fell apart. They weren't able to get past the quarters for the second regional in a row. So G2 being able to show up and perform, play that perfect sweep that NRG have just shown us in the last regional, dominate like Space Station did in the first regional. That's really where G2 want to be. They don't just want to be scraping through. They want to be crushing the competition.
That is part of G2's story as well, coming into this season, how they were the champions last season. And it felt like an opportunity slipped them by to really cement themselves as that #1 team in the region. Because as soon as it happened, things went very wrong. AJ, I don't know how he's managed to figure that play out, but does keep it out for his team.
Yeah, that was either brilliant awareness by AJ. Sometimes he'll just do a quick head count, see only 2 G2 players, and he'll assume, well, the 3rd has to be in my blind spot. Or he does a quick flick of ball cam off and on, and then sees where Rizzo is lurking. Either way, good work by him. And once again, AJ finding himself in the right place at the right time. And he will put in the opening goal. He was actually on the rotation back, and then he realized, wait a minute, that's a pretty perfect ball to turn on. 1-0 to the Peeps again.
The Peeps refusing to back down here. So desperate to start clawing themselves into that conversation up there with the NRGs, the G2s, the Space Stations, and the Team Envies of the region. Just need to see it more often from them. You get the feeling that, the results they get might give them that argument down the line, as AJ, outstanding from him, and completely outplays G2.
Oh my goodness, we're going to have a very difficult decision to pick top 3 goals for tomorrow, because already we've seen a few contenders. That one in the mix for sure. What a play by AJ. Flip reset into the mind game, and he's having a great game for himself. Peeps on the warpath, looking to equalize the series, but luckily for G2, Rizzo is first to the scene. That net was momentarily open, but the Peeps didn't have anybody there to put it in.
Now off the backboard, that's going to land awkwardly. They need the help. They got the help. J-Naps. Let's make it awkward again, but AJ is on point here. Saw earlier on that it was Gyro popping off. He has quietened down quite a bit. Now it has been AJ's turn. And they're going to need that if they want to try and take us through to Game 5. Gyro ends up just flying past it. I think that was safe no matter what. We did see a player diving on through for G2. As it's now going to come into the midfield. J-Naps off the backboard. Rizzo can't go for a run onto his shot. That means no power.
Yeah, it was a good try by G2 in terms of pressure, but they're going to need to try again. The Peeps are proven to be quite difficult to break down today. Although G2 have had quite a lot of success, I wouldn't put that down to Peeps' failures. It's more their ability to find goals out of anywhere. Now, this is more like it for G2. Chicago able to read that bounce. And unfortunately for Peeps, their man who called that he had it, all he had was a big bump coming his way.
That is Rizzo playing at his best there. Not necessarily the greatest shooter on the G2 roster, but he's very good at putting the ball into an awkward spot.
What do you mean,
recovering so quick? We're not doing this again. We are not doing this again. I'm not having this.
Poor Rizzo. Never nice shot, Rizzo. Oh, it was so close. Only ever great pass. Good demo. Well, maybe yet. When it happens, everybody, you got to clip that. You got to tweet it out. Got to boost his confidence as a striker. AJ doesn't need any confidence boosters. Look at him go. That's truly a hat trick. Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's off the goal line and back into the edge of the box. That was at least 9/10 of the way across the line. But unfortunately for the Peeps, G2 have kept it out. I think AJ had the goal right there for him. If he just flipped the right way, a boost was at a premium. Here he comes again. This time, Chicago's able to keep him out. AJ could have easily had 4.
That shot that went off the post numerous times looks like me when I go bowling with the safety bumpers up. Just left to right, left to right. Unfortunately, they have not got their own safety bumpers up in the form of that 2-goal lead that they would like to have reestablished. Instead, 1 minute left, 1 goal difference, and maybe just 1 opportunity needed for G2 to prevent Champions Field from coming up next. Lucian back down. Gyro up. Will he have support on his right-hand side, or are they going to try and settle for this 1-goal lead? It's a bit more of a defensive look when it comes to the pressure from the Peeps, and there's no real arguing that might very well be the smarter way to go about this. G2 stuck in their own right-hand corner. Chicago up. Over to the left-hand side of him. He was going to hope for JNaps, but that's not quite happening, and the Peeps are in a perfect position right now. They haven't got to defend their net if they can just keep this ball in the orange side of the field.
JNap's going to have a beat here. Well, it looks like AJ will clear the ball. Even though he was isolated 1v3, he's done brilliantly. Chicago forced to make another last-ditch save. Look how quickly the Peeps are able to turn a backwall defensive play into a shot on target. Their transitioning has been exceptional. It's been able to punish G2 every time they're just a slight bit out of position. Looks like we're going to game 5, Shogun. AJ just needs to hit the ground. Oh, it's kept up by Chicago. Just barely. 1 more chance maybe for G2, but that's going to bounce down. Nobody reaches that one in time. And we will go to game 5. What a series. What a performance there from AJ. A couple of brilliant goals. One that will definitely be in the top goals of
we keep
the
saying this. We're going to need like 10 plays.
Yeah, top 3 goals of the day is going to very quickly be turned into top 10 of, at this rate. I don't think that would be something that the fans would complain about. What do you guys reckon? If we have 10 good goals, do we do top 10 tomorrow? Be sure to let Rocket League Esports know on Twitter. But yeah, we're probably going to see another banger in the next game based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and for the Peeps, it has now been 2 wins. One off a hugely impressive performance from Gyro. Another one off a hugely impressive performance from AJ. So surely you got to start looking across the table now and saying, well, you know, Lucian, it's your turn, really. So eyes on him here heading into game number 5 for G2. This has become a lot more difficult than I think many were anticipating for them. Maybe the desk did sleep on the Peeps. Maybe everyone at home slept on the Peeps as well. I believe it was 82%, something like that. Or was I thinking of the last series? I think I'm thinking of the last series.
Yeah, I think this one would have definitely been a very one-sided percentage vote also. Whenever G2 or NRG are playing, as long as they're not playing against each other, they're going to dominate the fan vote because they're the teams with the most fans, simply put. But in this case, it's not just fans voting with their hearts. I think a lot of them do genuinely think that G2 are the favorites in the matchup, and I would agree. You know, I wasn't the most confident in my sweep prediction. I kind of forced into that one, but with how well G2 have attacked and how well they continue to find the back of the net, it could have happened. You know, a little bit of ironing out of defensive misplays. This team could be at the top of NA once again. Just look at the speed. Chicago to JNaps to the back of the net in the blink of an eye. 1-0 G2.
Now they've just got to hold on to it. Maybe even push it even further as Gyro that has managed to make it awkward, but that is a fantastic recovery from Chicago. Could have even gone further if he wanted to, but JNaps called for him off. That is what you need from your defensive players. You know, you don't want to be trading too many players for the ball. If you can just trade Chicago by himself, that's even better. He's going to keep going on here as AJ looks for Gyro's on the backboard. Looks to drop it down to him.
Way.
AJ's in!
What?
And we've got another contender!
Gyro had no boost on the back wall here. Absolutely nothing. But he still manages to get the ideal touch. Knocks the pass down to AJ, and the Peeps are back in it.
I'm so glad I'm not putting that list together, Johnny. It is turning into the impossible task, but the task for both of these teams remains the same. Find that next goal, find that win, and find your way through to stage 2 with the perfect record. This has already become quite difficult for both teams because they end up dropping a little bit of leeway as well because your seeding is also based on your game differential. JNaps has got nobody to beat, and he will beat that exactly nobody in defense.
Well, the only thing JNaps had to beat there was his ability to miss that shot by putting it wide. Look at that, though. Rizzo had an open net.
Overachieving.
That's like the perfect example of Rizzo as a player, though. He had an open net from deep in his own half, and he passed it to JNaps anyway. Always great pass, Rizzo, but it was a great pass. I think it makes a lot more sense to pass that ball off rather than take the long shot open net at the other side of the goal. Gets there faster with the additional stop along the way.
Almost managed to time that perfectly, the Gyro on his way through, and now Rizzo flicks up. As always, it's play, follow-up for a demo for Rizzo. Doesn't overcomplicate those sort of things, and it has always led to the best for G2. Now Rizzo pops into the midfield, no follow-up from the rest of the team. Rizzo now will turn around, goes for a shot of his own. That's a bad bounce out for AJ. I'll be happy to see that there was no shot on target, but G2 are swarming this net right now. They want that second goal up in the lead. As JNaps flip reset. If he managed to somehow find the dunk, and that would have been, well, one of the more unique goals as we see us over the top. And you can't afford to be missing the ball anymore, Peeps. You are very much up against it.
And JNaps, G2's golden striker, is back at it. Now here comes Rizzo. He's going to be denied by Gyro. Peeps are just hanging on for dear life at the moment. Half the game gone, but it could very easily be a 2-goal lead for G2. Had it not been for heroic defense by the boys in blue. Illusion, not known for his pop-off performances. He's always the silent killer who's just putting in insane plays in the shadows, unnoticed. That's a good play, though, with JNaps, and it's going to be noticed when you make a last-ditch clear in a position like that.
G2 have been so good in this game so far. I get a feeling that they possibly almost deserve that extra goal up. Peeps have not got rolling ever since their first goal. Rizzo, that's not a great touch, but as always, G2 with the follow-up. JNaps almost daring somebody to come on in. Gyro took the dare, and he ends up getting beat to the ball for it. Just taking their time here at G2. Sending one player in, dismantling this back line. And the Peeps can't figure it out. They are stuck in their own backfield. As it's going to be JNaps coming in for the challenge. Half rotation from Chicago to try and at it, but he couldn't quite read the bounce. Rizzo, will it be nice shot at long last? No, it will not. AJ clears. But unfortunately for the Peeps, every time we say that they clear it, it's instantly put back into their side of the field.
And the lateral movement from G2 is phenomenal. They never let the Peeps get dunks on them. Instead, they're just going to keep on passing the ball to each other off side walls, not the conventional back wall like we're more used to seeing. That's what prevents the Peeps from getting out of their half. When G2 get that ball moving in the blue end, they keep it there. Now 45 seconds left, still G2 with the advantage. JNaps would have had a double there if he had boost at his disposal. He didn't, though. Chicago will. Has he got another touch? Wouldn't matter, because I think Illusion blocked that in the perfect position. And all G2 have to do is defend well for 30 seconds. We criticized their defense quite a lot earlier on, but we have to give them credit where it's due. Games 4 and 5, I think they've done a much better job, especially this one here, the one that matters most.
Yeah, anyone that's been watching this series so far would have seen that 2-1 goal go in and thought, okay, well, there's still going to be something else to happen here, and G2 have made this story relatively boring towards the end, much to their credit, as the Peeps desperate to find some way of adding us one little twist to this tale. And that's a double commit. That will be Rizzo. He'll watch it on its way to the floor. G2 were made to fight, but they go 3-0 in